Hello, my name is Gregory Rodriguez, and today I'll be doing a presentation or analysis on the deadlift, conventional deadlift. My class is KINE 3365 in spring 2022, Professor Ivan Figueroa. I want to put a disclaimer out that this is not professional advice. So this video is part of a class project. The information covered was collected with the sole purpose to expand our understanding of the effects of different exercises in the body. The information that will be discussed next is not a professional opinion, nor the techniques shown should be taken seriously. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about the table of contents, which is just we're going to do this in one try. Anyways, this is table of contents. We're going to talk about the major muscles, joints, and the movements that are connected to them. So in this case, it'd be the deadlift. So it'd be more lower body, as well as glutes, hamstrings, and gluteus. Well, yeah, I already said that. And the lats, lower back as well. Step-by-step performance of the workout. We will be dissecting a video that I will show you shortly. The subject will be me. I didn't do it perfect, but I do think I have it somewhat down. Variations of the movement or exercises, so different types. We will be mentioning that later, or types of grips on the bar. And then common mistakes such as placement of feet, back positioning, barbell etiquette, or how to grip it, and spotting. So here I have a video. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to try to kind of talk about the motions, not too much, as I will be dissecting it in a bit. So here I have the setup. I pull, then I lock up, and then back down. Reset my hips. Make sure my grip is correct, shoulder width apart. Toes are pointed outwards, back straight. Hands are pronated. And then I'm going to show you a different angle from the side so that way you can see my back. Back is straight, lats are activated, heels are planted, forearms are gripped to the barbell, shoulder width apart. One straight motion. Barbell is close to hip. Elbows are completely extended. So that way it's not an upper body workout or bicep. Make sure that lower back is being worked out. Make sure to have the barbell placed in the middle of the foot. Extend those shins outward so that way you don't hit it. And in one sweep motion, it should look somewhat like that. Of course, I'm not perfect at it. I think my flaws would be extremely visible when it comes to heavier weights. As I do have some sort of hyperextended lordosis on my lumbar, which kind of places a lot of weight on my lower back, which could cause injury. And I think you want a perfect, or not perfect, but a more balanced positioning of weight across the lower body instead of bringing solely the lower back. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the setup phase. So this is before we even start to pull the bar upwards. We got to make sure everything here is in order. We have our feet placed hip width apart, shoulder width apart. Lean against the bar with your shins. Obviously, don't lean into the bar completely, but bar should be shin placed, or that area. Hinge at the hips and sink back into your glutes. So hips and glutes, connected. So they must be activated, kind of like when you're about to jump, that excitement of your glutes. So that way you can have that springing motion. Keep your spine straight and your chest elevated to the ceiling. So that way you have proper balance. Place a firm grip on the bar with your hands pronated, as I did here. This is called, well, informal name for it is monkey grip. But you could do alternate grip, which is one hand palm up and the other palm down, depending on your dominant hand. This makes it easier on your forearms, so that way it's not too heavy on the forearm, and you can concentrate more on the motion than actually picking up the bar. This is just a safety precaution, so the bar keeps from rolling out of your hands. There's also variation of since we're already on the topic of different types of deadlift variations, there's also the Sumo Deadlift. However, that was not an example here, but that is an example of a different type of deadlift. In the research that I've gone over, these scientific journals, doesn't show too much in difference in the type of extension of the hips or joints or even workout. I think it's just for better placement or it's just your choice, what they rather prefer to do it in. As there is variations for the squat, conventional and front squat. Either way, you're still pulling it. It's just the placement, and how the person prefers. Anyways, continuing, as you fall back into your hips, squeeze the bar with your hands. Flex your back and flex your back down to activate the lats as you sink into your hips. So your lats are your latissimus dorsi, placed under right here. Those are needed to be flexed so that way you get that proper pull up. Continuing, we have the concentric or pull phase. This is the motion in which you actually are pulling is a pull mechanic instead of a push. So this is pull. The concentric phase involves raising the barbell off the ground to your waist, primarily for the hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. Those are usually the areas that are being worked out in these types of Olympic weightlifts. So we have here the pull phase. The image is on the right, different angles. You can see that the bar is slightly pulled off. This is already where you initiate the pull phase. As you lift the weight off the floor, press your feet onto the floor, straighten your legs, and elevate your chest. All in one motion, so that way the barbell placed near your shin, middle of your feet, doesn't hit or make contact with your leg. Consider drawing your knees back and thrusting your hips forward when completely stood up, which will be in the next phase. Hips and shoulders should rise at the same rhythm, so that way you can continue that one swift motion, no injuries or lower back strain, and that way you can keep balance. Heels down, very important for your heels down. I think it's very important for lower body or lower body workouts, such as squats or stuff like that, to keep your feet planted. You don't want to put too much pressure or weight on the front of your foot or your toes, as you could fall forward, cause injuries. Very important to have heels down. Eccentric or lockout phase. So when the barbell is lowered to the ground, this eccentric is when you're finally releasing it. However, it doesn't mean that you completely let the bar go. You are still fighting gravity. You are still flexing your semitendinosus and your biceps brachii to fight that motion backwards as you reset your hips. So here we have the final lockout phase. Here's when I'm completely extended, and then to the right is when I'm going all the way down. So the steps is hold your shoulders back at the height of the action while keeping your spine straight and tall. Keeping your spine straight is also very important when you're in that extended motion. So that way, not too much strain is placed on the back or lower back. To keep balance is very important too, so that you don't fall forward. Before beginning the lowering phase, pause for a bit. So don't just go up and then drop it immediately. That could cause issues, could cause damage. Also, you don't want to throw the barbell on the ground, as it could land on your foot, or it could just could cause issues for other people around you too, like noise complaints. But I don't think that's really an issue if you're dealing with heavy weights. But it's just proper gym etiquette to not just throw your weights around and make loud noises. Slowly press your hips back while maintaining a long spine and high chest, your chest pointed outwards. So that way you can keep that balance. You don't want to lean too much forward. As the weight falls back to the floor, use your thigh muscles to fight gravity's downward pull. So that's pretty much it for what I have in the PowerPoint, but I did come over some academic research over deadlifts versus sumo deadlifts. I think there's a lot of interesting facts that kind of play into how deadlifts involve Olympic weightlifting. As I did find out that spotting in deadlifting doesn't require another person to necessarily watch the barbell, but more so make sure the subject is safe in that the area is clear. As you can see here, I have a bench rack kind of close to me, also a lot of hazardous things. So in this case, if I was dealing with heavy weights, be very dangerous. As you're doing heavy weights, I don't know if you've seen videos where those big guys, powerlifters, pulling up a lot of weight, all that blood rushes from their brains to be able to excite those muscles. So that lack of oxygen, that lack of blood to the brain could cause you to have a momentary slip up. And it just takes 1 second of no blood to the brain, or that much really, to cause you to pass out. And a spotter should be there to make sure that they don't fall on their head, crack their skull open after they pass out. So that's pretty much it for spotting. But the beautiful part about Olympic weightlifting is that all you have to do is drop the barbell. If you can't do it halfway down, just let it go, take a step back, and let it fall. No one will judge you if you drop the barbell. It's better to do that than to get injured. Anyway, so these are my academic references. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.